Hello and welcome to the European Open briefing for Thursday, October 12th. I'm Andreas Georgiou, currency analyst at XM.com, and together we'll be looking at the main developments in the currency markets. So yesterday we had the release of the Fed meetings pertaining to the September meeting. Those showed that FOMC members are worried about low inflation. The minutes were generally perceived by the markets as dovish and therefore had a negative implication on the US currency. Moving on, we'll see that the euro remains on the rise despite confusion over Catalonia. Did the region formally declare independence or not? Continuing, we'll see what's going on with sterling. Brexit is on the forefront. Moving on, we'll take a look at the Australian and New Zealand dollars, and finally a look at today's economic calendar. So the FOMC minutes yesterday showed that persistently low inflation is a cause of concern for Fed policymakers. Over here, by the way, we can see the dollar yen in orange and the dollar index. Many policymakers expressed the view that another rate hike later in the year was likely to be warranted, but others said that their decision will depend on inflation data. It was often said in the past by Fed policymakers that inflation is low due to transitory factors, but this time around, the minutes showed that some policymakers worry that those factors could turn out to be more persistent. As I previously said, this development has put the release of the minutes has put the dollar on a negative footing. The dollar index hit 92.80 at its lowest today. This is a more than 2-week low. It is currently down by approximately 0.1%, while dollar yen is at the moment deeper in losses. It is down by 0.2%. Now attention in the US shifts to producer prices to be released later today and CPI, consumer price data, to be released tomorrow. Also important in relating to the yen is the fact that Japan will be holding elections on October 22nd, and as we get closer to that day, the Japanese currency will be receiving additional attention. Should Shinzo Abe, the Japanese Prime Minister, come out strong out of the elections, then it is expected that we'll have a continuation of Abenomics, with a reflationary economic agenda remaining on the table in Japan. Now moving on to the euro, can see that it is marginally higher relative to the dollar on the day. It today reached 1.1880 at its highest. This is a more than 2-week peak. The currency is on its 5th straight day of rises relative to the greenback. Now robust data from Germany early in the week, but from other Eurozone countries as well, such as Italy, have been boosting the Eurozone's common currency. Also, there is rising speculation that the ECB will announce a plan to start winding down its stimulus program when it completes its meeting on monetary policy on October 26. This has also been helping, of course, the euro. Tensions over Catalonia seem to have eased, or at least this is what the market reaction is showing, though questions remain on this issue. The Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy yesterday gave the Catalan president a 5-day ultimatum to clarify whether he formally declared the region's independence or not. The euro is also held by dollar weaknesses of late as well. Moving on to sterling, we can see that it is higher on the day relative to both the dollar and the euro. Approximately it is up by 0.2% relative to the dollar and up relative to the euro by 0.1%. You can see on the chart below that euro pound is down by 0.1%. Pound dollar hit 1.3264 earlier in the day. This is an 8-day high. Brexit negotiations are on the front line. The finance minister Philip Hammond yesterday said that the government is preparing for all possibilities, including a no-deal scenario with the EU. And also on investor attention is the BOE meeting that will take place on November the 2nd. Over here we can see the antibody currencies relative to their US counterpart. The Australian and New Zealand dollars are lifted on the back of weakness in the US currency. The Aussie is on its fourth straight day of gains relative to the greenback, and the Kiwi on its fifth straight day of gains. Aussie dollar today hit 0.7835 at its highest, and Kiwi dollar 0.7122. Both these marks constitute 1 week highs. In New Zealand politics, the political uncertainty remains. The leader of New Zealand First Party said today that he would need more time to decide on whether his party will support the ruling National Party or the opposition Labour Party, and of course his decision will determine who will be in power. Moving on to today's economic calendar, later in the day we'll have some industrial production data out of the Eurozone, and afterwards attention would fall on jobless claims out of the US and PPI, data on producer prices again out of the US. And not long before we had the release of CPI numbers out of France, but market reaction within the first minutes of data release was, I would say, subdued. Also, we should say that Fed policymakers Jerome Powell and Lael Brainard will be talking at 14:30 GMT. They are both FOMC voting members. Jerome Powell will be talking on emerging markets and Lael Brainard on monetary policy. The ECB chief Mario Draghi will participate in a panel discussion at the fourth Rethinking Macro Policy conference organized by the IMF, while at the same time Peter Pratt will be talking at the JP Morgan Investor Seminar. I should also say that other ECB members will be also participating at the conference organized by the IMF, while later in the day at 1500 GMT we also have data out of the Energy Information Administration, or rather I should say the Energy Information Administration's weekly report, oil report, including data on crude stocks. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and have a great day.